Hello folks, Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm not sending you all Christmas cards this year. Instead, I'm doing a video on my top 20 YouTube creators, the people I watch the most on YouTube. As I found I'm watching less and less TV, I don't know why I pay my TV license, and I'm watching YouTube creators. So please stick around and see if you agree with me or not, and let me know down below if there's anyone I should have included. Hello folks, my name's Nigel. Do hope you can subscribe and like. So let's get into it. Number 20 is Electroheads, because they do a lot of bikes, electric bikes, small cars, that sort of thing. And I met them at the Everything Electric show a few years ago. Very nice people. I think they're based at Tower Bridge. 19, I've got Mark Knopfler, the Dire Straits guitar legend. And what can you say? He's still playing and recording, and he's still amazing with that guitar. I think he just gets better and better, like a fine wine. 18 is Rick Shields Golf. Well, I've never done a video about golf, and I used to play 30 years ago, and I started just recently, and I find that very interesting and informative, because there's just not enough golf on TV, and when you start a sport or restart a sport, you just want to see more and more, and he's very good. 17 is a YouTuber slightly smaller than me, but probably not for long. It's the Electric Transition. He's slightly smaller than me, but I'm sure not for long. And he, like me, he reports on owning an EV. I owned a Tesla, and I report specifically mostly about the Tesla. And he reports about the electric car driving in general, and he's very, very good, and it's someone that I would recommend you check out. Mark Brown reports about owning a Tesla and things associated with it, and funny enough, he moved to Cornwall this year, and I left Cornwall a year ago after living there for most of my life, but he's definitely worth checking out. Andrew Till, Mr. EV, he doesn't own a Tesla. I think he rented one once. He mostly drives other EVs, and that's very good if you want to get a view of someone not driving a Tesla. And his wife's very funny, and he gets his whole family involved. At number 14, Marcus Brownlee. Well, he's a sort of legend, isn't he, for tech and his team. And he was one of the first YouTubers, and he's got millions of subscribers, and definitely worth checking out. Now, the next one, number 13, hasn't been making videos for a while, and that's a shame, because that's Tom Scott, who had millions of followers, and he was one of the early creators on YouTube. Likewise, Tesla Talk, not as big as Tom Scott, but I put him as number 12, hasn't done anything for a couple of years, and he was the one person more than any that persuaded me to buy a Tesla. And I remember him saying, well, just buy it, you won't regret it, and I haven't. So I'm very grateful to Tesla Talk. The next one, Johan Gore, pronounce his name, Canadian, that cycled from the very top of the Yukon in Canada right down to South America. And frankly, if you go back to his early videos and go through them, you'll just be obsessed, as I was, as he cycled through the Americas, and that was he's definitely worth checking out. Number 10, Sam Alexander. Used to watch him a lot. He hasn't posted much lately, barely one a month, but he's very good. He calls out a lot of the inaccuracies when Tesla in particular and EVs are being reported by the mass media, so he's definitely worth checking it out. Number 9, also haven't been producing that many videos as they used to, is Wheels to Wander. And that's Maudie and Eric, a Dutch couple, who originally, before lockdown, were travelling all around the world on their bikes, and their journeys are quite fantastic. So it's well worth going back to see some of their early videos as they travel around the world. More recently, they do the odd trip every now and again. They've got a good following of people who like cycling, and they're a very, very nice couple. Number 8, Foil, Arms and Hog, 3 Irish guys who are extremely funny, and they like to do videos about getting into the immigration for England and all the different countries of the world, and they like to highlight some of the idiosyncrasies of the different countries, and they're very creative, and I'd like to see them live one day, and they're definitely worth checking out. Number 7, I've got Strong Towns, and this was people who have been reporting on how the towns in America don't have to be dominated by cars. They're following the European model where people can walk and relax and live close to the shops and cafes and not be reliable on the cars, but more on public transport. It's American and it's excellent, and I thoroughly recommend it. Well, at number 6, couldn't possibly leave the guy out with 13 million subscribers. British, must be one of our biggest, if not the biggest, Colin Furze. He used to be a plumber. He's an engineer. He's a brilliant engineer and makes all sorts of things, hovercrafts and planes. Dug a huge garage under his house, massive, and his engineering is quite superb, and he's very entertaining, and he does crazy stuff, and he's definitely worth checking out. Okay, so we're down to the top 5 now, and I've got the Electric Viking, an Aussie, who reports about 3 times a day. Don't know how he does it. He must have, I don't know, is he a twin, or he must have a production line going there, people editing and writing, I don't know, but he's produced, what was he said, something like 1,500 videos in the last year. Don't know how he does it. It's quite remarkable, but definitely Electric Viking, very, very informative and keeps me very much abreast. That's what's going on around the world. Now, number 4, Dave Takes It On. To be honest, I'm a bit envious because of the amount of subscribers he's got, but he does post daily and he has his son helping him. And he got to his 1,000 subscribers in a couple of months, and it took me 2 years. So I suppose if I had the time and energy to do a video a day, certainly weekdays, Monday to Friday, then I don't know. But he's very good, very informative. He likes reporting on a lot about the charging network, though he does have a Tesla. I'm pretty certain he's got the one with free supercharging, and then he can drive all over the country visiting the different superchargers. And he's very critical, like I am, on some of the expensive superchargers at 79p. So, number 3 is R. Simmons Limited, a very informative dealer that only deal in electric cars. I think they might do the odd hybrid, but this is the place you would probably want to go to, I would suggest, if you're not buying new. But even if you're not, they can give, or look at their, I would suggest you look at their back catalogue, specifically on cars and how they report them. And like myself, I like to report on what it's like to drive one, but they're looking at it from a dealer's point of view and a practical point of view, and they can give you a good lowdown on what it's like to own a Tesla. Okay, number 2. Well, it's got to be fully charged for me. They just get bigger and better all the time. They've got the Everything Electric shows all around the world, massive shows with hundreds of thousands of people attending, and so much information if you're thinking of buying an electric car or solar panels or whatever. They get a lot of criticism from oil companies, motor manufacturers and car dealers. So you know they are doing something right. And Robert Llewellyn is an absolute genius. I'm biased because of his work in Red Dwarf as Crichton. And there's Jack Scarlett and a whole team of people there. Quite excellent. And I think that if I haven't watched a fully charged show at least once a week, something in my life is missing. Number 1. Well, it's Climate Town with Rowley Williams. He only has 600,000 subscribers, which is surprising because he produces virtually an hour-long documentary about once a month about the environment and the effects we have on the environment, whether it's the clothes we wear, the cars we drive. He looks like a younger Burt Reynolds, and he's very funny, very amusing, and he gives examples of how we can make our climate better, that we don't have to be a hostage to the motor car. And I'm surprised he hasn't been picked up by Netflix or a TV station, but he's probably very happy on YouTube, and I recommend everybody follows him. He's really good, and well, I could talk about him all day, but I won't. Okay, didn't have room to put in Mr. Beast or Mark Rober. There's probably a few of your favourites that please let me know down below. And I do hope you're going to have a great Christmas. If you're thinking of buying a new Tesla, please use my link. In the UK, you can get £500 off a new Tesla, and in the US, up to $2,000. And I would say also, if you're not thinking of buying a new Tesla, if you're thinking of buying a used one, you can contact R. Simmons or look in Auto Trader. I would have no qualms whatsoever buying a used one. I think recently there was a thing on, I've seen it on a few channels, it's doing the rounds, of a taxi that's done 450,000 miles. Was it 250? No, I think it was 450, and 3/4 of the battery is still left. And so that's not bad, is it, when you've only used 1/4 of the battery and you've done all those miles. So buying a Tesla with 100,000 miles on, I would have no qualms, and you can get them for between £12,000 and £50,000. Anyway, that's for the people to say I'm only here to try and flog my links for people to buy a new Tesla. Hope you have a great Christmas. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.